What's up, people? It's Post Malone. I'm just kidding. It's Bri, obviously. If you'd like to see how I went from my regular old self to good old Post Malone, keep on watching. Okay guys, so as you can see from the intro and today's title, I'm going to be trying to transform myself into Post Malone. This transformation scares me just a little bit, only because transformations like these take into consideration some pretty decent changes in bone structure just using contouring. Now, I've done this in the past once before, not for a video on this channel, but for Halloween. I went as Sarah, one of the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. I did the character, like I said, Sarah, who was played by Sarah Jessica Parker, and it actually turned out pretty well, but it is pretty difficult to try to navigate the exact little nuances on somebody else's face. If you're seeing this video, that probably means that this transformation could have turned out worse. So without further ado, let's get right to it. First things first, I'm just gonna start by taking off my eye makeup and pinning my hair back before we move right into the makeup. The first thing that I'm going to do is a solid foundation, a full coverage foundation. I want to give myself as much of a blank slate to work with as possible. Don't judge me if this foundation doesn't match. Not only can I not tan at a tanning salon because of quarantine right now, but I also did try a self-tanner that I had an allergic reaction to. Next, I'm setting that with some powder. A couple of really important things when it comes to trying to transform yourself into another person with makeup is that there's a few staple things that really help draw the look together. One, the shape of a person's nose. This is huge. People's noses are so different. Second thing, eyebrows. Now, for me, on the day-to-day, I don't even deal with it. However, Post Malone has some pretty bushy eyebrows, so you may want to cover your eyebrows and start from scratch, or accentuate what you already have and draw outward from there. Third, when it comes to lips, this can get a little bit tricky. When I did the Sarah Jessica Parker look in the past, it was pretty easy to mock the way that her lips looked because she, as a character, wore bright lipstick. However, with Post Malone and with most male looks, you're going to have to be careful with how you do the lip color, because if you do too vibrant of a color or too pink of a color, it's going to look like that celebrity is wearing lipstick. That's not what you want. You want to try to make that lip color look as natural as possible when you're doing most male looks. And fourth, the eye. Everybody has different eye shapes. With this one, I think it's gonna be a little bit easier with the eye shapes. It's just gonna be some shading for like lines under the eyes and things like that. I don't think that's gonna be our biggest challenge to tackle in this one. I'm actually going to be starting with the eyes, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is some shading around the outer parts of my eyes and underneath near the bags of my eyes as well. I'm going to be taking this color right here called Dunes. I do want to also note that with these kinds of transformations, your contours tend to be darker than most other types of contours with makeup. And that's because you really want to sell the look that the bone structure has changed. Now, when you see a look like this in person, and maybe it'll even show on this video, it's definitely not a slight, very well blended contour. Now, you can definitely blend it out and make it a little bit more seamless, but it's gonna be pretty harsh looking. Next, I'm going to do a similar thing right towards the bridge of the nose, curving in towards the eye. This is actually going to also help the top of the nose contour, but it's going to help the eye look as well. Next, using a dark brown shadow and possibly just a smidge of black, I'm going to go on the upper line, my lash line on my upper eyelid, and I'm going to draw a black line. And this is because we want to mimic, at least for me, because I have very blonde, very short eyelashes, we want to mimic that natural appearance of a natural lash. You don't want to use mascara for this look because Post Malone doesn't wear mascara that I'm aware of. I'm just kidding, he definitely doesn't. One thing that's important to note is do not go all the way to that inner corner with this line because these mimic natural lash lines. So you don't have a ton of eyelashes that go all the way to the inner corner. Going back in with this shade, we are going to focus on the bags under the eyes. Don't make these bags too far down on the bottom lid. You really want to keep referencing a picture of this person that you're trying to transform into so that you can try to get it as accurate as possible. I should probably warn you that these looks generally tend to look a little crazy before they start looking better. So if you're looking at me right now going, she doesn't look like Post Malone, you're right, I don't, but I'm trying. Now we're moving on to the nose. And we're gonna take that same shade that we contoured the upper eyelids with and use that for most of the nose contour. Post Malone's nose starts out skinnier here, but it does get wider, and the end of his nose is pretty bulby, and then he has larger nostrils than I have, so I'm going to have to draw the nostril shape as well. I'll work on blending those harsh lines more later, but for right now I really just want to lay out the structure of his nose. Next, I'm going to go from those contour lines that I just bowed out, and I'm going to go around the outer part of my nostril because his nostrils bow out a little farther than mine do. Focus on making the septum more shaped like his. I just very lightly made another line across, mimicking a mark that he has on his nose, but I'm going very light-handed with that because it's not super noticeable. Now for the nostrils, his just bow outward wider than mine do. So I'm going to wet a black eyeshadow, take a liner brush, and draw those in. So you guys wanna know a fun fact? Supposedly you are never further than 10 people away from knowing a celebrity that is living now that you would want to meet. So some way or another, somebody that you have met in your life knows a person that knows a person that knows a person that knows a person that knows the celebrity that you like, or any celebrity really. However, I actually know exactly how many people I am away from Post Malone. 3 to be exact, which is pretty cool. Now this does not mean that I ever think that I'm going to get the chance to hang out with Post Malone, although that would be awesome. But my husband worked with somebody who used to actually occasionally go hang out with Post Malone because they, I believe, don't quote me on this, it had something to do with video games, like promoting video games or something like that. And so he had, at one point before he was big, met Post Malone and kept in touch on and off. And sometimes when they're in a similar area, they still meet up. You know, this guy has pictures with Post Malone. We know he's not bluffing. But yeah, it's pretty cool if you think about it. So I wonder if any of you know how many people you are away from knowing a certain celebrity, or if you just literally know a celebrity. Put in the comments below if you know how many people away you are from knowing a celebrity and who that celebrity is. I'm curious to see who you guys might get a chance to meet one day. Don't forget, Post Malone does have a nose ring, so I'm going to draw that right on my left nostril. If you're trying to do this look at home, just remember that if you also have all of the face tattoos and such, it goes underneath the word tired on his face. You may not even be able to see it in the monitor. I'm not sure how well you can see that from here. I'm gonna stop there with the nose contour for now. Okay, so now for the lips. Like I said, this part can probably be a little bit tricky because you want to try to make as natural a lip color as possible, especially when you're doing male makeup. So I'm going to try to do some sort of a combination between this generic Ulta Beauty liquid lip. Unfortunately, it does not have a shade name, but then I'm also going to try to mix it with the Jeffree Star liquid lip in the shade I'm Nude. So the center of his upper lip is pretty raised compared to the rest of his upper lip, and his Cupid's bow is not that intense. And I'm going to fill it in, and we can work from there to kind of work out the shade and some shading. I'm also going to shade right underneath my chin to give more of a shadow before we go in with the beard later. I'm going to very lightly go over my lip color using this warm brown. And I'm just gonna take that same shade that we've been contouring with and draw some lines in the lips to kind of give it more of that natural lip texture without the lipsticky look. Now we're going to sketch in the shape of Post Malone's eyebrows, as well as a general sketch for the shape of his beard. Post Malone's eyebrows are bushier towards the middle and get thinner towards the outer edges like most people, but the inner part of his brows are pretty feathered up. Post Malone's brows have a small arch, but they're pretty straight across for the most part. Okay, so that took me way longer than I will ever admit to any human being. And this is what we ended up with. Post Malone does not have perfectly groomed eyebrows. His eyebrows are pretty grown out actually, so you don't want the super duper harsh lines. If you look at these close up, you can see how I didn't make the edges super crisp. I did make the line in his eyebrow that he has sometimes, he doesn't have it all the time. So next, I am not fully filling it in yet, but I am just going to kind of sketch general shapes of his beard. Now, he has a mustache, but you need to pay close attention that in the middle of that mustache is a gap where his natural skin shows. We're going to show that skin through that middle part. And also for the sides of his beard, again, he does not have that perfectly groomed straight edge beard. He's actually got little patches in the middle that come up further than what's behind it. Before I finish that beard and do all the detailing and the shading and this and that, I'm actually going to go in with the tattoos. And the reason that I'm doing this now is because his beard grows over some of his tattoos, so it's going to be easier to lay those bases now. Pray for me that these come off later. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be Post Malone for like a week or something. I don't know. But I really need these to come off later. I'm not drawing them on. I was actually able to order Post Malone tattoos on Amazon. I know there's gonna be a glare, but this is what it came as. So it's not every single tattoo that he has. This is one of the cheaper ones. If I was doing this for Halloween or something, I would be getting one of the more expensive ones that's up to date with all of his tattoos. The one thing that I did notice that is not in here that I wish was is the Ace of Spades. So I'm going to have to hand draw that one, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw these on off camera and then we'll finish up the rest of the face after these are on. Okay, so these are the tattoos that I'm using. It turns out I actually didn't have enough room to put that Ace of Spades right over here, so I just kind of let that be. It did come with the neck skull tattoo and I did put that on. However, I actually took it back off. Thankfully, I found out they come off using rubbing alcohol, but it was actually way too small, which I was surprised about because the general scale of these tattoos is pretty good, but that skull that he has stretches all the way and wraps around his neck. The one that was sent in the package really was about this tall, and it just didn't look right. With that said, since all of the tattoos that I thought went under his beard didn't end up being in the packet, I actually could have done my beard before now. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that beard right as we speak. And of course you want to be using all of the same shades that you used while you were doing the eyebrows. This is how I'm going to keep the facial hair. I just went over using different size brushes with dark browns, blacks, just doing repetitive motions over and over. Again, he has that patch that is higher up than the rest. He's got the mustache, the little soul patch, and it kind of interconnects with the beard part. So before I put on my wig and my shirt, I'm going to just blend a little bit more and touch up some of the contouring that we did, but other than that, the makeup is pretty much done. Okay guys, so this is it for the makeup today. I'm going to go change into my wig and my shirt, and I will be right back. What's up guys, it's Post Malone. So this is just a generic white dress shirt of my husband's. I know Post Malone has like a very eccentric style. I really wish that I had something like cowboyish and rhinestone-y, but unfortunately I don't. This is actually a very, very long brown curly wig that I ordered off of Amazon. I have it rolled and tucked into the back of this shirt. And yeah, you obviously saw that I bought the tattoos on Amazon as well. I tend to buy a lot of my things for these makeovers and transformations off of Amazon if I can. It's usually cheaper, comes pretty quickly, and I'm impatient, so I like to get my shipments as quick as possible. Time for a little Post Malone montage. Also, I should know, I really, really like Post Malone. And so does my husband. We've been listening to him for quite a while. I think that his albums are fantastic. You can have your own opinions about him if you want, but I think that he is a brilliant artist and he is a great live performer. And if you know anything about Post Malone, you know that this transformation would not be complete without Bud Light. Oh yeah. Like music to Post Malone's ears. But seriously, for anybody that doesn't know, Post Malone loves Bud Light. I mean, Bud Light has an official cooler full, stocked with Bud Light at his house. He did Bud Light commercials for the Super Bowl, which if you haven't seen them, were funny, so you should go check them out. This man just has a genuine love for this beer. This look was a lot of fun to create. I was nervous about how it was going to come out, but overall, I think I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So if you like this video, click the thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to leave in the comments below, how many people away are you from meeting someone famous and who is it? Thank you so much for coming to my channel and watching my video. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.